You run away from me,
Come on, Rebel
Minefett.
Pilot.
You're mine,
You know
Fett.
what to do, guy.
Come here, Minefett, I'm ramming you.
How is this not a hit? Like, how is he not dead?
You watched him kill me? What the hell, Gil?
Whoa! That dang laser, though.
How is this not? Come on! Are you fucking kidding me?
Minefett is a very unique TIE bomber style, and he gives the best players in the game a hard time. We're gonna break down his loadout in this video. Hey, this is Time Bomb. If it's your first time checking out the channel, hit that subscribe button to catch all the updates. Thanks a lot for checking out the video. So, in this one, I am talking to Minefett about his loadout. And like I said in the beginning, earlier in the year, the bomber was just like the ship for like the first, I want to say 6 weeks of the game at least, if not longer. People were just all about the bomber to the point, bombers with a medal, like having like 4 bombers in dogfight was just so OP earlier in the game. Like it was so hard to counter that and beat the bombers really early on, and they just had so much going for it. Like they had the biggest health pool, like they still do, but it was even bigger. The mobility was better, the wind-up rate was faster of the rotary, the assault shield worked with more mobility as well, from what I remember. So there was just all these advantages that the bomber had that they've slowly, worked away from. That's kind of the way the game goes. If something gets better, they pull back something else, then later those things get too good, so they pull it. And the bomber was the beginning of this. We saw that it was the first balance patch that needed to be done, because it was crazy how good you could do it. Everyone, that's the way I remember when I started the game when it launched, to kind of get my friends kind of acclimated to the game. Then I'd be like, hey, just jump in a bomber, throw the rotary cannon on it, just fire it at those guys. That's all you got to do. You just don't even have to fly around, really. That's the thing. It actually gave you bad skills in the game starting out if you used the bomber, because you were just this turret that would just kill things so fast. So that was the problem. I think a lot of people, myself included, weren't really understanding the actual flight mechanics, because you could get kills just so easily with the gun. So there was a limitation to it. Now it's the complete opposite. I think the bomber is very high skill, and to use it the way that Minefett is using is very rare in the game. But I think, as he'll talk about, there's still room for it for sure. There is still room for the PK bomber, and that's why I'm calling, this is the rise of the PK bomber. I'm putting it out there. People should know. More people should be probably trying this out the way Minefett does it, because he just gets dominant numbers. He's this kind of person who will still get 25 kills. Like you would see much more commonplace in December, January even. You could still see that got away from. Let's be honest, PK went downhill big time in January with the rise of the dead drift, but there was still a lot of high kill games, and he was doing it as a bomber. Still now he can get those high kill games as PK is returning big time. I think the PK bomber, there's definitely room for it. So I'm gonna go over his loadout with him in this video. So let's go listen to that interview.
Yeah, my my primary weapon is the rotary cannon, due to the insane DPS it provides.
Yeah, that's something that's never really changed. Wait, did they nerf it at one point? Was it actually more, or was it always been?
They had nerfed it in the first couple of weeks of Squadrons. This was the build. I
mean, it was.
They nerfed it down for the movement ability, or the maneuverability of it.
Yeah, when this game came out, the bomber was just so OP for the first bit there. It was amazing, but then people kind of pulled away. And the rotary still has been good the whole time, but I think they nerfed some movement on it as well. On the bomber, I think that was the other thing that they did that kind of people pulled away from it.
Yeah. It's it was first nerfed to a minus 60% maneuverability, and that really drew a lot of people off of it. But if you can move around that and provided the maneuver ability it needs, then it's usable.
And then for your build, you use the beam cannon?
Yes. It is the moniker that I've heard from it is and what I call it is the meme beam. It's a choice that I made that's very useful for joust.
See, I feel like you're the only person really using it for jousts, though. Really, too, kind of like in not. You know what I mean? Like, most people are using it for objective damage if they're using it, but you're using it like.
Yeah, no, this is a
finishing
fully
move.
a bomber build. Yeah.
If you use it at the wrong time, the beam cannon, then you kind of get locked up in it and you're kind of stuck. So how do you balance that out in the bomber as a dogfighter using the beam cannon?
You know, it has a very high rate of charge after you use it. So, you really just have to find a spot where you can use it, but it's not providing any of the nerfs that it pulls with it, like the very low maneuverability you get. You just have to kind of.
So you use it. You have to use it at
situationally.
a situation where that nerf to maneuverability won't affect you because when you're using the beam cannon. You got to be smart about when you use it. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, because so it's a risky thing. It's an advanced gamer move, really. Star Wars Squadrons using the beam as a dogfighter. But man, yeah, I mean, I've been caught in it against you for sure, and you smoked me with it.
Yeah.
So then the next. The next thing though you use kind of in place with that too, which is interesting, is you have the assault shield.
I made it as a recent change, but it was an amazing change that I saw some other people using. It provides near invulnerability. I think it multiplies it by a couple hundredth of 100%, and so if you use it, it makes you basically unkillable even at 2 health. You still stay alive even from constant gunfire.
But there is again same thing. It's got a maneuverability kind of hit when you've got it engaged though too. So you kind of have to be smart about where they are, and it's only in front of you.
Yeah. Even so, it's kind of the same case with the mean beam. You really need to make sure that someone just can't come up behind you, because those are the two big things that can really happen whenever you're jousting people, is that someone can just come up behind you.
Countermeasures. Oh yeah, sorry. Actually, for the first thing too, I think you told me too. The one that you would say to recommend if you're going to switch either of them out, it would be the beam cannon, not to keep the assault shield and maybe switch to whatever you're more comfortable with. Beam cannon, was that correct?
Yeah. It's honestly is a meme move to use it. I wouldn't recommend it if you're doing anything outside of purely dogfighting.
Right.
I have seen multiple people use the Goliath Missile instead, for that major damage, and a multi-lock, since that is also the normal bomber build.
Yeah, you kind of be like maybe flex to an AI farmer too, if that's what the team needs, and then also dogfight. If you're whatever the situation is. So for Hall, you're going with reinforced Hall, obviously, to just give it that extra tank ability.
Yeah. I chose it as a beginner using it purely for the Hull, but even with the nerf that they provided early on with the -1000 health, it still is very bulky, and if you can maneuver around right, you really can't be killed with it by one person.
Yeah, 50% health now, and I mean it was crazy at the beginning of the year. He gave you so much. It was so much more health than every other ship. It was crazy, and yeah, it was a good nerf. And those nerfs that they put on the bomber definitely pulled away from people overusing it. And it's more of a high skill ship to play it the way that you are, I think, for sure. Now I'm wondering, the engine that you're using. You said the twin ion engine, and you must be like shunting like back and forth all the time with it, right?
Yeah. You really you have to be conservative in where you use your power, and I have found that using that engine, it doesn't provide you with the recent boost gasping that's come out, so you really don't have to worry about boost, but if you're conservative with it, you can really still have a lot of boost with it. It's an engine that provides no drawbacks, and nothing like the -100% usage rate that the Ion Jet engine provides and stuff like that.
Okay. No bonuses or drawbacks. Interesting. Now, how much do you shunt when you're? I'm actually curious about this. I don't know if you saw like how much scalp is shunting. Are you shunting to that level, or is it just more when you need to?
Usually I only shunt when I need to provide firepower, but if I am in a high tense situation, I can constantly shunt back from energy to weapons when I'm firing at somebody, and then quickly shunt to energy into engine so that I can fly away.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
I have to use it very much in the middle of a battle.
Yeah. Yeah, that charge of the lasers, I mean, for me, is always really slow. I feel like too when I'm like maximizing it. That's the one thing about the bomber.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you have it there, and you can just shunt back and forth, it's money.
Yeah, they actually made a buff to it whenever they were in that buffing stage of the bomber. It doesn't require any power, so I have seen people just constantly charge it whenever they're flying, so that it's basically negates it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the drawback of the 1.4 second charge up rate or wind up rate.
And yeah, the other thing that you do too that's pretty crazy is your maneuverability is like, you know, I mean, you're able to like 360 around, you know, pull around and 180 on people. Any tips for how to do that in the bomber at all?
Constantly boosting. Throttling down to 0. It can, and throttling down to half and stuff like that. That can help your maneuverability a lot than staying at full power.
Right.
But there's really not much more to it than just boosting a lot and drifting.
Well, thanks a lot for walking me through your build, man. I'm gonna try this out for sure.
No problem, man.
So that's everything with Minefett. Thank you very much for checking out this video and maybe give you a different way to think about it. Now, of course, you know, like you said, the mean beam is maybe not for everyone. You could go with a Goliath, maybe. You could go with a multi-block, something else to switch that up if that's not what you're comfortable with. And I think you still have a very deadly ship. That mean beam is definitely fun for the memes, though. So thanks a lot for checking out this video, guys. Leave the comments below any thoughts you had, some other loadouts maybe you'd like to see, what you think about Minefett's play. I really appreciate you guys checking this out. I'm on the road to 2,000 subs, so give the video a like, give the channel a subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks a lot for checking it out. I'm Time Bomb. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you guys later.
Boom, boom.